This morning's already started out being that second scoop and that second cup kind of day. So I finished my speaking engagement at the Red River Apers Association yesterday evening, and just to reflect a little bit about the night, I gave pretty much a third-rate presentation. I'm not happy with the evening whatsoever. I just was unable to control my anxiety, and I could not keep focused. That blurred vision I get. I can't read my speaker notes. So right off the start, I lost the connection from the crowd because I was too nervous. I couldn't read the prepared material that I had in front of me just to kind of prompt me along. So I was trying to focus on reading what I had to get me going, which took me off the crowd and just completely screwed the night. And I lost that initial connection, anxiety went up, and then it's just a matter of, the night was just full of just compounding, not problems, but additional load onto my whole stress level up there. Like my mouse wouldn't work sometimes, so I fucking around with this, and my computer would glitch on me, and I couldn't play a video, and I'm trying to convey my thoughts, which a lot of times I'm able to express what I'm trying to say, but I just couldn't spit out what I was trying to say because I was getting mixed up, and I couldn't read what I had to prompt myself, and it was just like, ugh. And it was probably like, I'd grade myself like a C-. It wasn't as bad as that Calgary presentation I gave last year, but it wasn't too far off that. The whole night I fought, and I fought hard just to try to maintain some kind of rhythm and just to provide, some kind of content, just expressing everything that I wanted to tell them. But it was just very awkward and cumbersome and terrible. Because I've given good presentations. I know I have, because you can feel it. You can feel the energy from the crowd. You can feel the connection. When you make that connection with the crowd as you're speaking, you can feel them listening to you, and you can feel them connected in what you're trying to say, and they feed off your thoughts. And that reflection and that feedback from the crowd is just, it is an unreal feeling, and it's something that I try to achieve. And it makes for good presentation, makes for good content, interaction between the crowd. But this, I just completely lost. It's like there's almost a wall in front of me, and I could not manage my anxiety level to be able to achieve that sense of connection. And I'm very disappointed in it. Although afterwards, they invited me, Sandy and I, for coffee to the coffee shop afterwards, and it's just a tremendous night last night discussing beekeeping. I mean, this is what everybody gathers for, is just to talk about all this kind of stuff, and it was a good night. Got back pretty late. It's almost like a crapshoot with these guys getting me out to present to their clubs. It's like, okay, we're getting this guy out. Is he going to be able to perform for us? Is it going to be worth the money we spent on this guy? Or even just the time for the crowd to show up to listen to this, to what I have to say? I was listening to a podcast, I think it was, and I listened to a lot of podcasts, but Jim Carrey was talking, and he was saying that he would intentionally go, before his big break, he would intentionally go to the stand-ups or whatever and fail on purpose. It's hard to fail on purpose, but just achieve a terrible performance. Because he said that you don't know success and you don't appreciate the success and how well that event has gone unless if you've encountered pure and utter failure. And by achieving that pure and utter failure, you just use that as momentum. It sounds silly, but just use that as momentum to achieve better, to achieve brilliance, and to do everything you can to become better than that situation you put yourself into earlier. I don't know if that makes any sense. I can relate to every word he said there. And that's kind of the whole spirit of this motivation I got behind me, just to, figure it out. And then I'm wondering, like, why in the hell am I putting myself in the spot like this, putting myself in front of, like, there's probably 75 people in the audience there, just setting myself up for failure. Like, why would I even involve myself in a situation which I have a lot of trouble with? And, what is there to gain there? I was listening to another podcast from Jerry Springer. He was in talking to a guy, and they were talking around the conversation, getting these guys to come on his show, and most of them just make a complete and absolute fool of themselves in front of the entire nation. And the question was, are these guys staged? And I mean, how do you find these guys? And Jerry was saying that, like, he's got a list of guys wanting to come on the show. And he said it's funny because these guys will come on the show and make a complete ass of themselves in front of the crowd and everybody across the country. And after the show, they'll approach him. They say they want back on. They want back on. He said that was the funniest thing. He said he couldn't understand it until he realized that it's the attention. It's their stage. It's their spotlight. He said a lot of guys in the world, they hate their job, and maybe they don't get along with their family. The kids hate them, and their wife is always complaining to them, and they're at a dumbass job, and their bosses are always yelling at them, and they just feel like they aren't being heard. So here they go on this stage on the Jerry Springer show, and they make a complete ass of themselves, but they have the stage in front of the entire nation. Everybody is listening to them, and it's a thrilling experience. It's an addictive feeling. I know exactly that feeling. I get up in front of a crowd and I convey my thoughts. I have everybody listening to me. I'm conveying what I want them to hear. I'm connecting with the crowd. They're listening to what I have to say. And there is no stronger... I can't even explain it. It's just it's a thrill. It's a sensation. It's almost like a drug. And you get off the stage and you just get this high. And you want more of it. So you put yourself out there to be able to accept more of it, because that is your platform, that's your stage. People are listening to you, and it's unreal. So it is extremely odd. It's extremely thrilling, and hopefully this next presentation at the end of the month, I'm going to speak to a conservation group. Hopefully it goes better than it did last night.